Welcome everybody to the first recording, the first sit down, the first session of chatting with 103. Here's my co-host, my best friend, my right-hand man, and the man that still owes me $100 from 2 years ago. Ya boy, Sir Shink.
Yeah, I appreciate y'all. Appreciate y'all for having me. Yes, it's me, Think. Yeah, man. You know what we doing this year. And to my, what you would call your left, everyone watching, we have. I mean, what more can I say about this guy? He's a symbol playing,
Ah,
bank telling,
ah,
Panther loving
ah,
individual who
ooh,
I am privileged to have known for these last couple years. Please give a rousing round of
ooh.
applause,
Feeling,
Mr.
feeling the
CK.
shivers. It's your boy, CK. Okay, now the energy's all gone. I had a cup of coffee. That's where I know that came from. We're gonna start off smooth today. We're gonna start off smooth. We're gonna just go over the first three games that we found interesting of the playoff series. Okay. Let's see. Starting off, who we got? Who we got? Who we got? We got the Ravens versus the Steelers. Okay.
That is tomorrow at 7:30 Eastern Standard Time.
Mm, mm, mm. You're right. You're right. You're right. Honestly, I'm actually looking forward to this game only because of two reasons. I really want to see a Steelers upset. Keep it on with you. Like for y'all, oh yeah, just so everybody knows, Sir Shink is a Steelers fan, and as he said previously, I'm a Carolina fan. So I honestly will not be getting to enjoy seeing my team play in the playoffs, but we'll be there one day. We'll be there one day. But that's what I was saying.
2062.
I would say honestly, bro. No, don't say. You said 2062. Okay, I thought you said something crazy. I thought you said 2036 or something. Like I
No.
thought I heard something crazy, bro. I was about to say that's wild, bro.
And
That's
62
wild.
is normal. All right. Cool.
That's still wilder. I
Panthers
thought you said
fans,
something
ladies and
worse
gentlemen.
than that. I thought you said something worse than that.
2136.
21, 30. God damn. We
We'll,
wouldn't even be
we'll,
alive.
we'll be long time.
You know
A
how mad I'll
generation
be
or
if I
two.
go the rest of my life and don't ever see Carolina make it back to the playoffs? Fighting. Everybody. Everybody's catching these hands.
Okay. All right. Good to you.
Oh, but what I was saying essentially, keeping it on with you, bro, I really want to see this upset because the Steelers have been on a 4 game losing streak, I believe. And I just want to know like what is their plan to really switch it up for their first game in the playoffs. I mean, keeping 100 with you, bro. Y'all been on a downward spiral for a minute,
Yeah.
and it's a mixture of it's a mixture between the offensive play not really coming through in their games, and it's also going along into the defense not really holding their weight. But it's like it's never like the same consistency every single game. So I really want to know what are they planning on do to switch it up for the Ravens. I mean, how many times have you? I feel like the Ravens and the Steelers, they played twice this year,
Yeah.
and it's a fair, it's an even 1-on-1 right now. So who's gonna take it up? Who's gonna take it all at the end? So how do you feel about it, bro?
When it comes to my Steelers watching them, keep this in mind. I am 1 versus 31 when it comes to all this. I'm going to speak from football. I am a Steelers fan, but from a football perspective, I mean, it's what you were saying. It's just the lack of performance, and I mean, it's not just one person I can point it to. I mean, with George Pickens got hurt and he wasn't playing like those first 2 games, it was like you noticed. Then he comes back for the last game because he was gone for 3 of those games. So 3 of the 4 games that we've lost, he was
Hmm.
not there, and so it kind of slowed everything down because he's like the catalyst. He's the guy when Russ is throwing. I don't know if Chris Collinsworth did this, but he was the first person I heard call it a moon ball. He was the guy who was getting that call. Like he was the person. So I'm talking a 40-yard bomb down the field. I mean something that just flips the entire side of the field, and that's not there. And now you don't have to prepare a defense for one guy you can just prepare and be like, oh, we don't necessarily respect all these other guys, but I mean they're also athletes, so we have to watch them. So we're gonna play
Mhm,
defense, and we're not gonna play be like, hey, Mr. Free Safety, you don't necessarily need to watch your number one corner down there, your number two corner.
mhm,
Play
mhm.
just play defense. Just play back. Play back. Two
So,
high safeties. There's not really too much to worry about.
I agree with that. So based off I have a question because I'm looking at his most recent stats, George Pickens, what I'm talking
Mhm.
about, and it looks like he really didn't like, he hasn't been much of a factor since he's been back. I
Yeah,
mean, week
exactly.
8 week 17 versus the Chiefs, man only had 3 receptions and 50 yards. Actually, that's actually pretty impressive. That's actually pretty impressive. But
But it
for
should
week
have been a lot more.
yes. Yes, a lot more in my opinion, because you got week 18 only had 1 reception. Now
In that game, he dropped like 3 or 4 balls. Like it was, and some of the balls were like right on him. Like it was like, uh, why?
mm,
Why? Why did you drop that? And I'm like, he's probably still getting back into the swing of it. And I mean, it was the last game of the season, so guys are probably pulling out all the stops. Shout out to the Bengals for not making it, even though
hey,
they
I
did
don't
well
know.
last year. Shout out to y'all. You had a triple crown receiver and still didn't make it. You had an MVP caliber quarterback and you still didn't make it.
And then
Y'all are
one I think they had a rusher who had the most sacks in the NFL, or like
they
most
had
pressures or
a
something like that.
top 3 in virtually every category outside of rushing. Y'all still didn't make it. Y'all are Philip Rivers Chargers from a couple years ago, and they had the number one offense. Y'all still didn't make it. I appreciate you. Yes, we split these games with y'all. Don't really care. Y'all still didn't make it. Y'all didn't make Jabbar Chase, House Cancun, or ask him. Sir Joe Burrow's
Hey,
in Wisconsin right now. All right, enough dog in the raid. Enough dog in the thing.
hey,
Let's get on to some actual
why
talk.
how did they catch a stray, bro?
I
How did
mean,
they catch a
I
stray?
told you it's 1 versus 32 with me, so it's screw every other team, regardless of the situation. But from a
Respect,
football
respect.
perspective, the Bengals really should have made it, and it's shocking 'cause I mean, they were actually a really, really great team. Like, they're a really, really good team. Like, outside of some defensive miscues and the occasional bad offensive series, don't forget Joe Burrow also went to a Super Bowl. So, not disrespectful,
Facts.
but so he won't win an MVP this year, but he could. He should be in the running.
I definitely think he should be in the running after how he played,
Oh
bro.
yeah,
Because they just really had a really bad start, but finishing the
yeah. They
season
started
with
off
how they
0 and
did.
4. They started off 0 and 4, and they still managed to be in consideration week 18, and then they won that game versus the Steelers.
Hey,
And
question. Now,
yeah,
since we're bringing up their failed attempt at entering the playoffs, I ask you a question. Okay,
so
do you think that the Chiefs kind of like threw that last game to prevent the Bengals from getting in because they would rather have the Broncos and have the Bengals?
I think the answer is yes and no. I'm saying it like this. The Bengals were coming in fiery hot. Like they came in, they like if they did get in, they were gonna have to face Buffalo, and I really think they would have gave Buffalo a run for their money.
I
But
agree.
if I'm the Kansas City Chiefs, if I knew 2 weeks ago we had the number one seed, which means at least a week rest, relaxation, and preparation, preparing for whomever is coming to you. I'm sitting everybody too. If we got hurt people, oh, oh,
Understandable.
I'm
Understandable.
not I'm no, absolutely not. I'm not playing anybody who could help me get another Super Bowl. Not our first, but another Super Bowl. Patrick Mahomes' stats were piss poor this year compared to what we've seen from him.
That is true. That is true. But do you honestly believe that like if they would have never lost to the Bills that first game, they would have actually played their heart out for the last game against the Broncos? Well, I mean, because like at that point,
Absolutely not. I do not think so.
they don't think they would have.
No. I think I think that regardless of it, if they went in as the number 2 seed, they're still sitting in a really, really, really good spot. and I'm resting a lot of my guys. Like I'm resting all of the guys that I know I'm going to need. I know
Well,
I'm going to need you in 2 weeks
well, not
or
even
a
like
week.
being the number 2 seed or being number 1, number 2 seed, more of like having that perfect season, you know?
Screw a perfect season because they are. I mean, I don't think that they were ever going to have a perfect season, and I wouldn't. I would be very cautious as a coach going into a postseason not losing. I think that is very dangerous, especially in the NFL. This isn't college football. You don't have a chance to go to another bowl. You either go to the bowl or you go home. So they're like going into a season undefeated. There has never been a team, an undefeated team ever in history, go perfect through the regular season and through the postseason and then win. Closest was the Miami Dolphins, I think, back in the '80s, Dan Marino. And so, no, those 2 games or 1 or 2 games or however many games they lost this year was just proof that Chiefs are still human. And we knew that all season. So I'm resting them regardless. I was going to rest Patrick, Travis, Isaiah, my
Mhm,
receivers, Rashid Rice and Xavier Ware, all those guys, my defense
mhm.
too. I'm resting a lot of guys. Get some practice squad guys in here. Give them some burn. People get hurt. like, let's maybe we can show you off to somebody else. We'll trade you away. But
I
yeah,
agree.
give the
But
other
you
guys a chance.
but do you find okay, so, like, remember how I was telling you a while ago I don't dislike the Chiefs because I feel like they play really good football. Remember how I told you that? Like, they play very smart football. I mean, a lot of
Yeah.
the games have been very close this season. Shoot, we almost beat them 1 game, but it's more of the fact of it's like they're playing very smart football. They don't ever look like they're really and like losing, you know what I mean? Like every game, it seems like they're always, except for this last one, obviously, and the one versus the Bills, it don't ever like they're struggling, even though the games be close. So my whole thing about it is that having that mindset sitting here wanting to sit out their players for the very last game, that's smart. But what other team, what other high caliber team this season is making those same decisions? That's why I strongly feel like they're being separated from every other franchise right now. It's just essentially like, okay, perfect example. Who's the other top teams right now in the playoffs? You got the Lions, you got the Ravens. I won't even count the Steelers, no offense. I won't count the Steelers.
That's fine.
Lions, Ravens, and the Eagles, okay?
Not the
Only other
Vikings.
team that
Crazy.
came
Or the Bills. Crazy. Okay.
you know you're not wrong, you're not wrong, you're not wrong. But okay, all those lined up. Okay, we got the Lions, we got the Eagles, we got the Bills, and I'll throw Commanders in there because the Commanders are pretty good right now. But either way, you got all these high caliber teams, and the only other signs that I've seen of them sitting out players to reserve them for the playoffs was the Eagles sitting out Saquon for the last game. But it's like I'm not seeing that same thought process when it comes down to any other team. So that's why I strongly feel like that's what separates the Chiefs from everybody else. Now I'm not trying to glaze the Chiefs right now because I don't want to talk about the Chiefs right now. I'm talking about the Ravens versus the Steelers game. But I'm just saying I feel like it would have been beneficial for the Ravens to sit out their players on those last few games. Even if it wasn't the last two, at least the last one. You don't really need. It's like you are secured your spot into the playoffs. Like you're guaranteed to be in the playoffs, right? But it's more the fact of like, why risk it? Why? Why risk it? But hey, I'm not in the NFL for a reason because I'm not the person that get to make these decisions. But that's how I thought about it, honestly. But I can at least say that both sides are trying to make changes heading into this game. And I wanted to run some by you to see how you really felt about them, if you don't mind.
Mhm.
So I know you know more about the Steelers, so I want to know about what's going on with this recent release, Scotty Miller. Like, do you feel like he was not contributing enough when he was on the team? That's why essentially he got dropped, or like what's more behind that? Because dropping him literally 2 days ago, right before we're going into the playoffs? Are they really trying to say, like, he was the problem? Or was he a factor of the problem and there's still things that they don't have to address before they head into this game?
I mean, I don't think that Scotty Miller was a problem. I think that they probably released him to open up space for somebody else that they think that they'll need. I mean, when I look at the roster, I don't look at Scotty Miller and say, hey, we need Scotty. Like we don't need Scotty Miller right now. I mean, I maybe seen Scotty Miller. What he did do really well this year was block, and he caught a couple balls. And I mean that's great as a receiver, but I need my receivers to catch the ball. And he's not that big of a guy, like in terms of size. He's
Mhm.
not but so big. Like we have another receiver who's a bit bigger, probably a bit stronger, and I'd probably keep him too. Like
Okay.
he's not even on punt, like he's not on punt return. He's not I don't see him nowhere else. Nowhere. But I mean, he's a great speedster. I mean, I don't think we need him right now. We have other pieces. We
I
don't
agree. I agree.
necessarily need him right now. It's not a requirement.
So,
I wouldn't make that a requirement.
do you think they're gonna make a change to the quarterback position? Do you think it's
I
more on falling? Because like we was looking at earlier when it came down to George Pickens like receptions. You said that he had a lot of drops that last game, but do you feel like those balls that were being thrown were being put in good situations for him to actually
I
catch?
think yeah, I think some of them really were, and he just did not catch the ball. As far as a quarterback change, I don't. I think it's too late in the game to make a quarterback change. What I think would work is I think if we go back to a dual quarterback system,
Mhm.
and by dual quarterback, I don't necessarily mean a guy coming in for 4 plays and then a guy sits for 4 plays, like and vice versa. I say like 3rd and 2. Yes, we like Russ, but if
Mhm.
I'm counting on someone to run 2 yards, not a running back, I'm gonna give it to Justin. Russ has fumbled. Like I saw Russ fumble mm, 2 more
Oh.
times than I would like. Like, I saw
Oh.
him fumble the ball in situations where Justin, I think he would have slid, jumped, or even made it to some of
Yeah,
those
we're
situations.
not gonna talk about that one. We're not gonna talk about that one. Oh my gosh.
We need to
Goodness.
talk about it because I was watching that. I was looking at like I saw Russell Wilson run 20 yards, 20 yards,
Mhm.
stop
Mhm.
shy of the goal line, and fumble
And
the ball.
fumble.
I watched it and I was like, "Go Russ, go!" No, Russ, no.
See, my thing about that,
Don't
this
think
I
Justin did
don't
that.
I don't dislike Russ. I want you to understand, I really don't dislike Russ. I used to like watching him play when he was on the Seahawks. But it's like from his time to being on the Broncos and then making his way to the Steelers, I feel like he only has like a burst of vet mindset. You know what I mean? Like it's like some occasionally he makes these mistakes. Like you're a rookie, bro. Like this is how I see it. A rookie would sit here and try to keep going after already making it 20 yards down the middle, not on the side, not close to the side, not close to the to out of bounds where he can get out real quick if he gets hit or anything, or if he fumbles it rolls out of bounds. No, he's down the middle, and he's like, okay, you made it 15, 20 yards. Okay, like you see them right here go down. You go down the 1, 2, 3, 4 yard line, run the ball and push the ball out at the very end. Cool. But no, you want to take that extra step. That's a rookie mistake, in my opinion. But I can't even fully say that's a rookie mistake because I'm not seeing other rookies make a mistake like that. Like, bro is so intelligent on the field, and then other times he's just it's like he's his first time playing football, and I'm like, bro, that's some that's something I would do in Madden, Chink. That's something I would do in Madden. I would run down the middle of an open lane and do a hit stick at the 1 yard line try to get a touchdown. You're not Cam Newton. Even he did it and it didn't work out every single time. I just 100% don't understand like watching him occasionally. It's like I see those mistakes and I'll be just wondering like, bro, I know you're better than this. Like the Russ I used to watch was much better than this. What happened in Denver that made that like something had to happen in Denver. I'm not gonna lie to you. You guys got a broken Russ. Keep it 100 with you, bro.
Sean Payton happened to him. And what sucks is we're gonna get to the Baltimore side of this. What sucks
Mhm.
about it is that I watched Russell Wilson. Well, not obviously intensely. I didn't know we were getting Russ this offseason, but I watched Russell Wilson playing in Denver. Russell Wilson was getting blamed, and it wasn't fair. I watched Russ
Mhm.
have a phenomenal season. Like, I'll pull up his stats from last year. Like, it was great. Like Russell
I mean,
Wilson, where is he? Where is he? Russell Wilson threw for 3,000 yards on. Actually, he had 2 seasons with them.
mhm.
Regardless, his last season with them, he had 3,000 yards. This was with an injury because he got hurt. I think he was in the protocol for a minute. 26 touchdowns, 8 interceptions with a 98% passer rating, 98 overall passer rating. Really not that bad considering this is a 30-some-year-old quarterback, and he probably wasn't meant to be there but for so long. And Sean Payton kind of broke him. Like, you could not
I
broke
agree.
him, but it's just like I saw like how his defensive players were acting, and I saw how Sean Payton was acting towards him. I'm like, dang, like Russ is getting the flack for a lot of stuff. Now that 70-30 game versus the the who was they playing? Miami last year? Oh, that was crazy. But that was also the best offense in the league. Like
That's true.
Tua
That is true.
Tagovailoa was genuinely one of the best quarterbacks that year, and he also had all the weapons. They were like the fastest team on the planet. Like no, literally nobody was catching them. They just made plays. I
Look at he
watched
had
that
he
happen.
had a
Like,
he had a Madden build, bro.
bro, he had everything. Like he had everything that you could want as a quarterback. Fast guys who you could just throw it up and they'll go get it. Like they'll just go and get the ball. You can't overthrow them. Like probably you're underthrowing Tyreek Hill more than you're overthrowing him. Oh, I
I agree.
mean,
I agree.
Jalen Waddle is his own receiver as well. Great receiver. So it's like I watched these guys dismantle the Broncos, like genuinely break them down to the point where they had a kick return that game and nobody really celebrated. Nobody was like, I mean, it was
Mhm.
like, you know,
Okay. It happens.
thanks. We appreciate it. But like
Free real estate.
nobody would, yeah, like thank you. Nobody was looking at that and like, oh yeah, let's do this. Like, no. People weren't doing it. Regardless, I think Russell's gonna be okay. I think that we don't shape up as a team. It's gonna be another typical Steelers season. Do great, do all right in the playoff, do all right in the regular season, win enough games, be in a position, and do all right, and then get to the playoffs. And I just hope that this isn't it, and this is not an implosion. Genuinely, I really hope that this is not an implosion. The reason
I ain't
why I
gonna
think the
lie.
Steelers will win is because of Russell. Russ is going to have to be the guy because the defense is going to do its job. Defense is going to do its job. The
I ain't gonna
job
lie to you,
every other
bro.
time. But yeah,
I'm not gonna lie to you. Y'all lose this game, Mike Tomlin's gone, bro.
no, he's not. No, he's not.
I cannot see a scenario in this nigga staying. I'm sorry. I cannot. I really can't.
Yeah, I mean
But I
that's
do.
fair.
I would say, do I want that to happen? No. I feel like he is still a good coach. Bro is a good coach. But that is a crazy stat, though. That's just a crazy stat to have. But
But when Mike
wow.
Tomlin is winning, he's going Super Bowls and AFC Championship game.
Mhm.
We have to do that. No Ben, no Le'Veon, no Antonio, no Steelers of old, no Killer Bees, nothing, nothing. This is a new age Steelers, new age, and it is scary to watch some days.
Yeah.
It is terrifying, but you know what? That's football. The Chiefs were all right. Most people probably don't even remember Dwayne Bowe from the phenomenal
Mm.
receiver, but Alec people forget how great Alex Smith was before those leg injuries. Just saying.
No, no, you're not wrong.
I'm just
But
Travis
I would
Kelsey
say,
was only but so good before
but
Patrick Mahomes.
with the Steelers though, they for their first game in the playoffs to be against the Ravens, that's really pushing it though. That's
It's
really
the
pushing
best
it.
test in the world. It's the best test. It is the best test in the world. MVP, arguably, I don't. There's probably two running backs in the National Football League that could say who could argue for the best. And one of them is Derrick Henry, the other one's Saquon.
So do
So
you think? Okay,
yeah.
since you're going on to the Ravens, do you feel like, let's say the Ravens lose this game, okay?
Hmm?
If the Ravens lose this game, and Well, how did you feel about that? How would you feel about the? Oh, I know obviously you'd be happy, but what is the image of the Ravens will be like if they lose this game, especially about all the hype they had been going into this. The most favorable matchup right now is for them and the Bills. Those are the two top teams people want to see there. Oh, also the Lions. T-
And
Three
they'll
top team
also
people.
play each other. The Bills, if they manage to win this, and the Bills manage to beat Broncos, we'll see those two teams play each other, which is
Yeah, one of them. But I'm saying is
that's
was one. It's blah blah blah.
get it together.
It's yeah, for real. It's very high. It's very favorable to want to see the Ravens, the Bills, and the Lions in the Super Bowl. Anybody else you can
Absolutely.
fill in the place. Anybody else you can fill in the place. But it's like for the Ravens to sit here and lose their first game entering the playoffs. How does that look?
It looks like y'all need to go back to the drawing board. It looks like y'all shouldn't have lost those first couple of games to the teams that y'all lost to. Like
I
that's what it
agree.
looks like. It
I
looks like
agree.
that y'all need to improve on what happened in the second half of the season and start off better. That's what it looks like. I mean, I don't know. It's hard to like for the Ravens. It's hard to say what needs to be done better because it's like, what more can you think about?
Yeah, this is
Lamar
a stacked
Jackson
team.
threw
Stacked
four
team right now.
interceptions this entire season. Three of those interceptions came off of something strange. Like I
Yeah.
remember seeing one of Lamar's interceptions versus Steelers, and Peyton Wilson, our linebacker, rookie linebacker, by the way, ripped the ball out of Justice Hill's hands as he was tackling them. It was an interception. It was an interception. It was one of the best plays that I've seen in a long time. Oh, that's probably a little bit biased, but from a defense perspective, that's an impressive play. To tackle a guy, flip your hand around, rip the ball, and then make sure it doesn't touch the ground all before your knees touch the ground.
Yeah, that's
Oh,
impressive.
that's impressive.
That
And
is
then they
impressive.
have other ones where it's like balls are being ricocheted, and it's like ball will get ripped out, and it's just like Lamar and technically may have really actually thrown one true interception this year. Imagine that.
I
40
honestly feel like they
touchdowns,
should
one
change that
interception.
stat. They should definitely change that stat
I think
from
it
inf-
should go against some of the receivers. Like if you get the
hmm
ball, if you tip the ball, I think that should go against you. I don't think that you should necessarily throw it all on him, but it's like, what else you gonna throw it under? A fumble? It's not a fumble. If it was a fumble, it'd have been
Yeah.
like he took steps, he had possession, took steps, and then lost the ball. It's like it's a pass.
But there's
It was a
been
pass.
there's been several scenarios in the NFL where essentially it's not on the quarterback, but that's essentially going into a negative stat on a quarterback. Like for example, one that comes to my head is that one Bryce Young throw to Xavier Leggett. He caught the ball and got it ripped out of his hands immediately, but they called that interception. I just feel like that
Mhm.
shouldn't be on the quarterback. Situations
I
like
agree.
that, there should be another. Like I feel like we should actually take this off season to create another stat just for that. Because if you're like you said, there was only one that you can really think of where Lamar legitimately threw it to the defender. That should be a considered interception. Now, if it comes down to the wide receiver taps it with his hands, it's up in the air, then the defender catches it before it hits the ground, I wouldn't count that on the quarterback because the quarterback put it where he needed to catch it at. Hey, I used to play a long time ago. My coach used to say this: if it touched your hands, you need to catch it, regardless. Touch your hands, you need to catch it. Now, is every single thing catchable? No, but it's like it's starting to get to the point where we're really kind of on the borderline of are we really about to sit here and allow this to keep happening, making like diminishing certain quarterbacks like runs throughout a season? Like, 'cause if you like think about this, he has 4 interceptions this season, correct? Take away 3 of them, bro. Take away 3 of them, and what do you have? A guaranteed MVP right there, bro. There's no comparison between him and Josh Allen. 41 touchdowns and 1 interception. There's no debate. There's no debate.
It'd be the it would be literally I think one of the best statistical touchdown to
I mean,
interception ratio.
currently right now he does have it. Currently he does have the best touchdowns to interception ratio of any quarterback. Right now he has it. But I'm just saying it would be even more impressive if they actually acknowledge that three or certain interceptions that quarterbacks are receiving aren't on them. After the ball leaves my hand and I put it to where the wide receiver or my tight end or even my running back can catch the ball and side errors play a part into that, I don't think that's on me.
The reason why I don't think that they're going to take into that stat is for one simple phrase: acts of God. If you're going to say that after a ball leaves my hand to get to you, that any other alteration from the time the ball is in your vicinity or close to you is then on you, then you have to consider, what if it's a windy day, it's raining, it's snowing. I mean, there are other, like,
I mean, but
sometimes
hear
that
me
the
out.
lights in people's eyes. I mean, those things factor into it.
But hear me out. Hear me out with that. So let's say the ball leaves my hand and it goes to it goes to your general area. If you touch the ball, simple as that. If your hands at least one, I say at least two. I would. We can make it even better. We can make it even better. Keep it 100 with you. Keep it 100 with you. Two hands. If at least two of your hands touch that ball, and then the defender rips it out your hands, or you tap it like it goes, it bounces off to both of your hands, and then the other team catches the ball. That stat should not be against the quarterback, in my opinion. Now, one hand, that's a little different. Cause let's say, let's say you overthrow it a little bit, and the receiver trying to catch it one-handed gets a couple fingertips on it, okay, but it goes past him. Safety got it. That's an interception. That, in my opinion, is an interception. It was overthrown. If you cannot two-hand grab that, that's understandable. But if I sit here and I'm a receiver and I put two hands on that ball and it bounces off my hands and the defender gets it, that's not on you. I can't blame my court. I can't, because, like, think about it. Think about it. They get back to the sideline. Who's the one apologizing? It's going to be the quarterback, but who knows it's their fault? It's going to be the wide receiver. The quarterback's always going to put him on himself. He's always going to say, "That's on me. I should have put that ball better." But the wide receiver knows in his heart and his chest in the game of football that that ball touched my hands. I need to catch that. It's just simple. Now you're right. There's other conditions that we have to put in factor, like windy, rainy day, snow. But are we also making those exceptions if the quarterback fumbles? Like, oh, the ball, it was slick outside, so we're gonna have two slick fumbles of the year and one dry fumble. Are we gonna, like, if we're not breaking it down for those? I don't think we got to throw in the factor like that. They can be considered though. I wouldn't mind them being considered, but overall, I feel like if a wide receiver puts two hands, at least two hands. I mean, shoot, they don't got more than two hands, but if they put two hands on the ball, they have to have at least some shared responsibility in that interception. Because coach is gonna Shink. I'm asking you this right now. If we go to practice the next 2 days, who's the coach gonna be making workout to do more drills off of that shit?
I
If
mean,
you
it'll
were
be
the
the
coach,
receivers. I'm
yeah,
saying the receivers, but I mean, I feel you. I see your point. I see
mhm.
your point. I do. I'm just saying. Just saying.
Nah, but no, I can definitely say I see your side too. 100% your side because at the end of the day, like you said, the the quarterback has to put the ball in a position for them to be able to catch it, hands down. That's the underlying fact. That's the main factor. I cannot sit here and throw it 20 feet in the air above you and then be like, "Why didn't you catch that?" Get an interception, and then, like, I'm blaming you like that. No, I have to put the ball in a position for you to make a play on it. My thing is, if you make a play on it and then something happens in the middle of after you making a play on it, is that really on me? It's more of the after. Now, during is a whole nother discussion in my opinion. But after, like I said, like we both had examples of essentially a wide receiver catching the ball and then getting the ball ripped out of their arms or hands. I can't go over there. I can't throw you the ball, walk down the field, and help you catch the ball and help you hold on to it for two extra steps and then let you go. I can't do that. Once the ball reaches your hands, I feel like I did my job.
This is true. And I can live with that.
You
I can
know,
live
you
with
know.
that.
But
I
hey,
agree.
I will honestly say the Ravens need to keep doing what they're doing. Honestly, just keep doing what they're doing. They had a rough start in the beginning, but they really figured it out, and it kept clicking after that point. I would just say what I need to know what happened that first matchup between the Steelers and the Ravens, where it was I wouldn't even say it was one-sided, but for the Steelers to come out on top, and then for the next game, the next matchup between them two, just just a blowout. It was just terrible. So I want to know what did the Ravens really like? What weakness did they see the Steelers have, and they capitalized on their next game? Because at that point, the Steelers going to take a time to really think about how did we essentially get abused? I know for my team, the run gets abused on us. We have terrible run defense. I think we have the lowest in the NFL. Every game, every running back is hitting 200 guaranteed. That's how I felt. That's how I felt, man. Oh, you just got promoted from the practice squad. It's your first time touching the ball. You even know what football is before Tuesday. I hope you're
True.
ready to have your. I hope you're ready to have three touchdowns, one 50 yards reception, and 35 carries against the Carolina Panthers. Brother, pat your stats, young man. That's how it felt. That's how it felt going. Everybody going against us. I think
And I agree.
that's why
I
I feel
agree.
like what was the Steelers' kryptonite? Really, what was the Steelers' kryptonite? Because that those two
When the
games
second
were
time,
completely from the first game to the second one. I feel like they what was their kryptonite to really solidify that, oh, we know how to beat you, guaranteed. Like y'all are Superman. I found y'all kryptonite. I know what I need to do next time.
um, really, it was a combination of a couple of things. When I go back and I look at that game, that was week 16, if I'm not mistaken, a couple weeks ago. There was no George Pickens. There was no
Mhm.
George Pickens, which means that you're not forcing the ball, but you're looking other ways to spread the ball around. Um, and so when that happens, it kind of becomes a little easier to manage because it's like, oh, okay, well, we know that you're going to run the ball on us, so we're going to stuff the box. I'm putting 7, 8 guys in the box.
Mhm. Mhm.
So, excuse me, sorry. I'm putting 7 guys in the box. I think that's fair. 7, 8 guys. And then it's like, so when you do finally throw it, you're in a situation that's 3rd and 6. I don't know a lot of guys who are running the ball between the tackles on 3rd and 6. I just don't. And I think our play calling by that time was understood. It's like I think I enjoy simple playbooks because they're easy to understand, but that cuts both ways. It's like once you figure out, oh, as soon as they line up like this, and they like to do this, and then they like to do
Mhm.
this. Okay, look at it. It's 1st and 10. They're at the 45 on their side. Probably gonna run the ball here. Okay, they're set up bunch trips close to the tackle. They're probably gonna run a toss. And then so you just look at that and you be like, wait a minute, you've seen this once before. So now it's second and 8 at the 47. Well, they probably don't feel comfortable enough to pass it here. 2nd and 8. You want to move the ball. Probably gonna run the ball again. By this time
Mhm.
you're at the 50 or close to it. If you only got a couple yards, and so now you're in a situation where you have to pass it. Short yardage situation, a coverage that covers a lot of your short, quick routes and has make plays have to develop 10, 15 yards down the field. Heck yeah. Heck yeah. It's just it became easy to read. And then so and I look at it now, it's like I can tell what play, but I also do that with a lot of other games. I look at it and be like, "Hey, hold up, where are they at? Who they got on the field? Two big tight ends, speedy receiver, big running back. They're probably gonna run it. But if they don't run it, they're gonna run a deep route for their guy. How would I run it here? Run towards the tight ends because that's where your blocking is. So you just watch and
Mhm.
see. You
Mhm.
just look and be like, oh, okay. This is how they're gonna try to kill us. This is so I put my shield up where I think you're gonna kill me. Where the sword's going. You put your shield up where the sword's going. And so
I agree. I agree.
if you look at football, you know football, you watch football, you can just start looking at it. And that's what happened. That's what happened. Arthur Smith had a really great playbook. The playbook, honestly, despite what people are saying right now, this is some of the best the offenses look besides that one game last year with Mason Rudolph and George Pickens went off as a
Oh,
tandem.
I know what you're talking
And
about.
that
That was a
game,
beautiful
I remember
game.
watching that game. I was like, I was happy because during by that point in time in the season, the Steelers were muddling along, and I mean dragging their feet like a worn soldier. It was like they were cut up. They had wounds and blood, and there was all a bunch of stuff going on. They just trudging through. That one felt like they finally hit the top of the hill, and it was
Mhm.
pretty simple, and it wasn't a bunch of the extra. So that was wonderful. But outside of that, bro, it's like you you know we got it.
It's fair.
We can only do so much.
Yeah,
So
it's fair. It's like you can only do what the cards you're dealt with. I respect that. So based off all that, based off everything that we have said, what is your outcome? How do you think the outcome of this game is going to be? Personally,
realistically, go ahead, go ahead,
yes. Oh, I would say yes, yes. Realistically, personally,
go ahead.
I have the Ravens over the Steelers. I want to say 31-20, and I think the Steelers want to get 2 field goals and 2 touchdowns. I think the Ravens are going to take a good head start in the beginning and just kind of chew out the clock for the second half.
I like the way you think. I like the way you think. Realistically, looking at everything, and I haven't seen the injury report. That plays a factor, which I should probably look at.
That
Real quick.
does. That does take a factor. I would say take a moment to look because of
See
the Steelers
who's
into
in
this
and who's
game beat
out.
up or the Ravens enter this game beat up. That's a whole nother cake mixture
Interesting.
for it may be a better or worse dish
So
to be presented.
no Zay Flowers,
Mm,
no Zay Flowers for them, which is hmm, interesting. Anyway, but looking at this, I say realistically, I hate to do it. I have to give it to Baltimore. I have to give it to Baltimore just because they have surged. I think the game is closer than what it is, and I don't think it's as high scoring.
okay,
Or
okay.
28-24, no field goals by the Ravens. No field goals, no Justin Tucker. They're not even going to rely on him. They have to just kick, extra points. And I say the Steelers make a valiant effort. And I mean, fourth quarter down to the last second, not enough time. You just don't pull through. And with this score, you can't win with 3 points. So you have to get
I
a
agree.
touchdown.
I
You have
agree.
to get a touchdown. It's going to come down to that. I say, what does that mean? How many touchdowns is that?
So
Two
you're
touchdowns?
banking on more of like an even kind of game, like we had
I am.
like the first matchup.
I say it's a 3 touchdown game, two from Russ, one from someone rushing, and a field goal by Chris Boswell. And then they have to rely on Russ and George and all their guys to go out there and make a play.
All right.
But if we're speaking from a fan's perspective, Steelers in five. Steelers in five. Steelers
Well,
in five. Y'all know who
we
I'm
can only
rooting for
see,
real.
bro. Situations like that. The only person I gotta deal with is LeBron. But hey, let's wrap this up. I'm glad everybody got to tune in for this one. We're gonna catch you guys back up right after the game.